In today's episode, HDD stands for quality, and apparently 35 hours of recording time impossible on a DVD player. The case of the killer floppy disk drive. My PC is totally frozen, well, almost. Have you tried kicking the wall? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. HDD stands for quality, and apparently 35 hours of recording time impossible on a DVD player. Customer needs a new TV and wants their DVD player connected. C equals customer. T equals technician me. After getting it all connected, they asked me some more questions about the DVD player they owned for the last 5 years. C, why is it that when I select HDD, that it's higher quality? T, HDD stands for hard disk drive, or hard drive. It's the internal storage of the machine, not the DVD. Selecting HDD will record the TV programs to the internal hard drive. It has nothing to do with quality. C, I'm pretty sure it does. When I select HDD, it's always in high quality. T, no, it has nothing to do with quality. You're selecting the storage location, you're going to record the program to the internal HDD, not the DVD. C, it definitely has something to do with quality. T, it doesn't. C, I believe it does. And why is it that the hard drive is smaller than the DVD? T, no. When I was here a year ago, it was 500 gigabytes in size. The DVD is 4 gigabytes in size. C, no, I'm right, the DVD is bigger. T, they're not going to put a 2 gigabytes hard drive inside of the DVD recorder. C, but at the top it says that it has only got 35 minutes of recording time remaining on the HDD. It said 35:30, 35 hours, 30 minutes. T, no, that's 35 hours and 30 minutes of recording time. C, 35 hours? That's not possible, you can't put 35 hours onto there, that's not possible. T, yes it is. We've got 5 terabytes hard drives nowadays, that's 5,000 gigabytes. That's over 300 hours of recording time compared to the one you have inside of the machine. It's not too far-fetched that it can contain 35 hours of recording time. C, no, it can only contain 1 hour. T, it has 500 gigabytes in storage, it can contain significantly more than 1 hour. C, no, it can't, it's only 1 hour max. T, look, it says there, pointing at the screen, 35:30, 35 hours, 30 minutes. C, that is not possible. That doesn't exist. T, sir, I studied IT for 2 years. I have been working with troublesome PCs since I was 8, and I've run my computer repair business for a year and a half now. I know what I'm talking about. 35 hours of recording time isn't crazy. C, the disk cannot have 35 hours of recording time. T, disk? We're talking about the hard drive, the one that's selected at the top of the screen. Not the disk. C, yes, we are talking about the disk. T, no, we're not. The disk can hold an hour of recording time, yes, but the internal hard drive can hold 35 hours. C, 35 hours? No, that's not possible. T, the HDD inside of the machine, not the disk, the machine, can hold 500 gigabytes of data, which is 35 hours of recording time. C, that's not possible. T, we've got hard drives with terabytes upon terabytes of data, that's 1,000s of gigabytes of data, yes it is. C, the disk can't hold that much. T, disk? Disk? We're talking about the hard drive, you know what? Whatever. C, and the DVB? T, me looking up what DVB stands for, that's a TV signal standard, nothing to do with quality or storage location. C. Okay. Well, before you leave, make sure you select HDD, that gives the best quality. T. Sir, HDD is the internal drive, not the quality. XP stands for high quality, according to Google, that is what your quality is at. C. Okay. Got an email this morning from the customer saying that the DVD player is no longer recording. They got annoyed, saying they didn't want me to change anything about their setup. I've only disconnected the HDMI cables from the old TV and put them back into the new TV. I haven't touched any settings on their DVD player. Told me they'd figure it out and I wouldn't have to come. At this point, customer can figure it out himself. I'm not going to help them with any queries regarding the TV. The elderly are really difficult to handle. Especially the senile ones that keep forgetting what you just said after 30 seconds and then repeat what they said before. The case of the killer floppy disk drive. Around 1999, my brother volunteered us to build a PC for a friend of his. He knew I'd successfully built my own PC already, so he figured it would be a good idea to have me help out. I think we were doing it in exchange for a slightly dented PlayStation, which was an excellent deal as far as we were concerned. So his friend orders all the parts he wanted and drops the lot off at our house. Everything is there, it all appears undamaged, and we put it all together with no issues. First post is fine, BIOS looks good, so we install Windows. Some indeterminate amount of Windows time later, Windows is now installed, so it's time for drivers. Now this is back in the day, where drivers either came on a CD if it was something fancy, or on a 3.5-inch floppy disk for everything else. We get the chipset drivers installed from a CD just fine, then it comes time for the network card drivers from a floppy. Grab the disk from the box, pop it into the drive and the computer resets. Uranium snail, that's weird. It starts back up okay though, and loads back into Windows. We can read data from the A drive with no problem, so the drivers get installed. Pop the disk out and move on to the next drivers, also on a floppy. Stick that into the drive and it resets again. Uranium snail, I think I see a pattern. We are both a little apprehensive at this point, as neither of us have seen an issue like this before and we're worried in case we damaged something during assembly. We don't want to let down his friend and we really want that PlayStation, so we stop installing drivers to try and troubleshoot this floppy disk drive. First thought is to remove things from the PC until we have the minimum set that causes the issue. So, power down, remove network card, power backup, put disk in drive, it resets again. Power down, remove sound card, try again, same issue. Disconnect the CD drive, same issue. Remove all but one stick of RAM, same issue. Try swapping sticks of RAM around, same issue. Disconnect the floppy drive, same issue. Uranium snail, wait. What? Yup, with both the power and data cables of the floppy drive disconnected from the motherboard, it still causes a reset when we insert a disk. Uranium snail, WTF. I'm beginning to think this disk drive is haunted. It is literally not connected to the motherboard and yet it can still cause it to reset. Okay, time for a bench test. Everything comes out of the case and onto the desk and we assemble the basics. Power backup with the floppy disk drive cables connected. And it works just fine. We can pop the disk in and out as much as we like and the PC behaves itself. Okay, so now what? We both look at each other, then simultaneously both look over at the now empty case. Maybe it's not the disk drive that's haunted, maybe it's the case? Everything gets unplugged from the motherboard and we reluctantly lower it into the possibly possessed case. As we are lining up the mounting holes with the support risers though, I notice that there are more risers in the case than are necessary for this motherboard. These days, most cases come with the risers all in a little bag, and you can screw them into the case exactly where you need them for your flavor of motherboard. But this was much more rare back then, and to support different sizes of motherboard there were just more risers, with some in places that you didn't need them. Now this was a standard ATX board, so we start checking the positions of the risers that we don't plan to use and seeing if any of them come close to the board. And wouldn't you know it, just where one of the spare risers is, there is a long dangling leg of a component sticking right through the PCB. It must stick a good 4 or 5 millimeters off the board, and is by far the component that sticks out the furthest, and it just so happens to perfectly line up with a spare riser. Now it didn't actually touch the riser, but it was close. Very, very close. And it turns out that the nice, brand new floppy disk drive with a nice, brand new mechanism full of nice, brand new springs gave enough of a clunk when inserting a floppy disk that the physical jolt caused the riser to momentarily touch the motherboard component leg, which happened to cause a reset. So the case was taken outside and introduced to the sharp end of a hacksaw, and now minus a few risers was allowed back into the house, where the now exorcised case was made the home of a perfectly functional PC, which was successfully swapped a few hours later for a dented but working PlayStation. My PC is totally frozen, well almost. Have you tried kicking the wall? Old story from the beginning of my career. I'll try to keep it brief. User phones in. Hi, my machine is totally locked up, I can't get work done. Can we skip the tier 1 thing and just have someone come fix it? Voice in me hand, I need to at least have notes of what went wrong. User, machine is locked up. Completely frozen. Nothing works. Voice in me hand, okay, what were you working on? User, 10 key data into Excel. Makes faint mouse moving noises, cue my sysadminsence. Voice in me hand, the mouse moves on the screen okay? User, yeah. Voice in me hand, what happens when you click on things? User, they change color. Voice in me hand, you said you were doing 10 key. What's the status of the numlock light on the keyboard? User, off. Voice in me hand, press numlock a bunch of times, does the light turn on? User, no, the machine is totally locked up. Voice in me hand, are you sitting in a rolly chair? User, yes, why? Voice in me hand, anyone behind you? User, no. Voice in me hand, grab the keyboard and then kick the wall with pretty much everything you've got. Don't let go of the keyboard. See how far you can roll. User. Voice in me hand, did the keyboard go why? User, oh hey, the keyboard isn't plugged in.